Today on The Spot, we'll be checking out Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks for the DS. We've also got another clip from our BioShock 2 interview that will be going live tomorrow. Round up all the latest things to hit Xbox Live Marketplace, and bring you some info on 3D TVs for gaming. Check it out today on The Spot.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Today on the Spot for Thursday, December 3rd. I'm your host, Lark Anderson, and joining me is Sophia Tong, who is not, as some of you might believe, myself, and definitely not my sister. What's
definitely
up with
not you. I don't know, we both wear glasses.
I know, that's really kind of a weird thing to believe that two people are the same person based on, right?
I have dark hair, you know, I guess.
Fair enough, I guess. Anyway, another person who is definitely not me or related to me is Tor Thorson. Why don't we go head over to see what he's got for today's headlines.
Hey everybody, it's your GameSpot news update for Thursday, December 3rd. I'm Tor Thorson. The day after President Obama announced his new plan for Afghanistan, Electronic Arts has announced the country will be the setting for the long-rumored reboot of the Medal of Honor franchise, titled simply Medal of Honor. Due out in fall 2010 for the PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3, Medal of Honor will be the first installment in the once top-selling series to not be set during World War II. The first-person shooter will instead focus on a member of the most elite group inside the modern-day U.S. Special Operations Command, the shadowy Tier 1 operators. EA says its Los Angeles studio is crafting a hyper-realistic campaign by working closely with actual Tier 1 operators, whose real-life experiences will provide the basis for Medal of Honor's story. Presumably, one such soldier is the inspiration for the game's cover soldier, who is rocking a bushy beard in addition to his assault rifle. However, beards were indeed sported by U.S. Special Forces in Afghanistan following the 2001 invasion, when said whiskers helped them blend in with the local population and stay warm. For Medal of Honor's multiplayer, EA is tapping its DICE studio, which gained renown for its Battlefield series. That means the Swedish studio is now developing 3 games at once: Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, and Medal of Honor. That's a lot of work to keep DICE warm during the long Scandinavian winter. Maybe they should grow some beards too. Well, that's it, your GameSpot news update for Thursday, December 3rd. For more headlines like these, head on over to news.gamespot.com.
Thanks for that look into today's headlines, Tor. Now let's take a look at what's going on this week on Xbox Live.
This week on Xbox Live, we have some Thanksgiving Day leftovers to feed your gaming appetite. To get you caught up with what happened last week on Xbox Live, we're kicking it off and stuffing it down with Madden NFL Arcade, available for 1,200 Microsoft points. A fast-paced 5-on-5 football game packed with hard-hitting action and a variety of game changers that will allow your team to run special plays and cheats, making for a game that will always come down to the wire. From the humid jungles of South America to the snowy mountaintops of India, LEGO Indiana Jones is now just a whip crack and a button push away. Players can build, battle, and brawl through their favorite cinematic moments. Mix and match body parts of 60 playable characters, create your own LEGO hero, and adventure through 18 different levels. Available for $19.99 or 1,600 Microsoft points. In Tropico 3, the Cold War is in full swing. You have to seize power in the Caribbean island country of Tropico, where you now rule as an all-powerful El Presidente. You have to decide whether you want to use your army to secure your power base in the best traditions of corrupt tyrants everywhere, or lead people to prosperity in the role as a generous elder statesman. In the Games on Demand section for this week, we have Crackdown, pushing the action-driving hybrid genre into the next generation. Enforce justice and full authority in order to serve and protect Pacific City. Get creative using anything you can get your hands on as a weapon. This interactive urban world has been taken over by crime and is now ready for you to explore, destroy, and defeat. One new demo to download this week. Take on the role of Craig Dillon in Jurassic the Hunted, an epic story-driven first-person shooter set on a dark, mysterious island that connects the modern world with the age of dinosaurs. This demo lets you play survival mode, where every minute is a fight for survival as Dillon must scavenge for weapons, defend barricades, and battle titanic dinosaurs in order to return to his own time. This week in indie games, ANTIGRAV Racing Championship is back with Ninja Edition, featuring 5 new Ninja Fast Tracks and a top 50 online scoreboard. Matrix 2 is a falling block game that allows you to transform and stack objects to create a rectangle to score points. Musicus is a 3D puzzle game where a player must connect 4 color panels together to create a rectangle and keep the beat alive. And lastly, we have Relic Raider. Explore a haunted pyramid for treasure and watch out for the Pharaoh's Tomb Guardian. 3 must-see videos this week in the video marketplace are Red Dead Redemption's My Name is John Marston trailer, Dante's Inferno's cinematic trailer, and Battlefield Bad Company 2, The Battlefield Moments. Wrapping things up in the add-on department this week, Need for Speed Shift fans, make sure to update to the new Team Racing add-on, where teams of up to 6 players can compete against teams from around the world. A bonus of 5 new cars is also included with the add-on. That's all we have in store for you this week on Xbox Live. Now go play till your thumbs fall off.
All right, now it's time for our daily demo, and what have we got today, Sophia?
We have the Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks.
You mean the Phantom Choo-Choo, right?
Oh yeah, I guess you could call it that too. Have you had a chance to play it yet?
I have not, but I'm definitely looking forward to this game.
Yeah, it's really fun. If you like the last one, I think you know, you'd like this one. You get to control the train, even pull on the cord, and you get to...
Sold.
Yeah.
Sold.
So for all you Legend of Zelda fans, let's check out our daily demo coming up next. Hey everyone, Sophia here, and I'm joined by Giancarlo, and you're here to show us Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at the Snow Temple, which is the second temple in the game.
Okay, cool. So let's just jump right in and see what's happening. Okay, so we've already talked a lot about the first part. I mean, we have both done previews on the game. Mm-hmm. And so how is this different, or what kind of new elements are introduced here?
So as with any Zelda game, the Snow Temple obviously brings up the whole ice element, and with ice usually comes fire in Zelda games. So the real trick in this dungeon is that eventually at some point you're going to have to work fire into it, but also ice as well. You come across these bodies of water. In this dungeon, you actually get the boomerang. You can actually fling the boomerang through these torches, these blue torches that actually create ice, which if you throw over water will create ice bridges.
So does Zelda join you in on this one, or?
So not as much. This particular dungeon is more about these bells, and you'll see this first one here, and these other sort of pedestals here. So the idea is you'll come across other bells in the dungeon, and then you need to get them into these slots. And eventually what you do is you'll play a song using these bells to progress. So we'll do a quick example here. If you read this map up here, it'll kind of tell you what notes you need to play or how often you need to hit it. So since there's only one bell, you just know that you need to hit this one twice. And it will open one of the doors.
Yeah, music also plays a theme here, because we checked out the pan flute that was introduced earlier.
Right. Yeah, I mean, music's a really, really big part of this game. Obviously, the pan flute, you have to play these songs to open up the spirit tracks to these dungeons. In this dungeon in particular, playing the right song in these bells is what opens up the final door. So yeah, you really do have to kind of pay attention, and a lot of the puzzles are based upon recognizing which notes you're supposed to be playing and things like that. So this is just one of the quick, really easy puzzles that's early on in the dungeon where you just have to push blocks around on the ice. And the trick is just to kind of get it into position where it's useful. So here you'll see these 2 stones that are kind of in the way, but you also use these as sort of guiding points to where you're supposed to push the stones, so you know that you're supposed to push it to the middle up here, and then you take Link around.
Standard dungeon puzzle solving.
Yeah, pretty standard for Zelda stuff. But yeah, I mean, most of the dungeon is just kind of working your way back around to that first room. All these rooms actually kind of lead back to that first area to where you can actually hit the bells and things like that. So
yeah, so that fan thing also comes in handy for hitting switches.
Yes,
across
definitely.
The way.
So here, let's try it.
There you go.
And it hits the trigger and the bridge comes out. But yeah, the fan really plays a really big role in the entire game, but especially in the dungeons. A lot of the puzzles are based upon being able to, time it to hit switches and things like that. And some enemies, the only way you can beat them, as we saw before, is to kind of blow the wind on them and then they become weakened.
Great, so there's a lot of microphone work so far.
Yes, yes. If you haven't used your DS microphone a whole lot, if you buy this game, you will be using a whole lot more than you ever did before.
That is true, so put on the spit guard for your DS. All right, well, how do you feel about the train? That's also a new aspect in this.
So the train, it's pretty similar to what Phantom Hourglass did with the boat, although obviously there's less freedom of motion. Right before you get to the Snow Temple area, you actually get the cannonball attachment for the train, which actually helps you defeat enemies and things like that. They're in the environment. You can also hit rocks and other things like that that have like rupees and all that. It also seems to be, we haven't gotten far enough, but also seems to be hinting that you can use the cannon to help the train warp around.
Oh, okay.
Because you'll come across these overhangs and you can actually hit one of the jewels, and supposedly that sort of triggers like a warping thing, so you can kind of jump around quicker. At least that's what it seems like you'll be able to do later in the game.
All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and showing us the game. So the game actually comes out next week, so look for our review then. But in the meantime, you can check back on our site for a video preview and additional information on Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. Now back to the show.
So if you watched to the end of the last episode, you might have seen a quick tease of an upcoming BioShock 2 interview. Now tomorrow we're going to have the full thing up on our site, but for now, let's take a look at another clip from that.
The changes to hacking, that's definitely was one of the longest discussions we had on the project, in terms of there were a lot of people who really loved the BioShock 1 minigame. There are a lot of people who really hated the BioShock minigame in the community and the fan base. Same kind of reception. And it's really tricky because once you go down the minigame route, it is wide open in terms of what you could do. You know, all the way from something very simple to something incredibly complex that's like another, you know, it's like you're making an indie game inside your game. And really what it came back to for us was some of our core values and things that we wanted to push BioShock towards, which was this idea of just immediacy, of keeping you in the game, keeping you in the flow of the primary sort of combat loop. And so we decided at the end of a long discussion that we wanted to have we wanted to make hacking both more tactical and useful for people, but also something that you could sort of do quicker and right in the action. And so we came up with this idea of now we have a hack tool, and it functions just like a weapon. And it opens up a lot more tactical possibilities for how you use hacking. You no longer have to, you know, run directly up to a turret that's shooting you in the face and shock it and then hack it. You can be a little more sneaky about it. And so it supports those kind of players who are more tactical. But it also happens directly during the gameplay experience. It just pops up a fairly simple meter that you can solve that game while you are being shot. So you can run up, tag something to hack, run back, hack it, run back out, you know, with the turret for support. And then beyond that, trying to have a little depth to that game that evolves over the time. So within the hack game, there are now bonuses. And if you want to try, if you feel you're really good at the hack game, you can try for what we call a blue bonus. And it gives you a different upgrade for every single machine in the game. And so a health station will drop a health pack, vending machines will drop free items, bots will get upgraded with more damage, things like that, that allow you to make, you know, really short-term tactical trade-offs on risk versus reward.
So the next big thing with televisions now is 3D technology, and I know that I'm a huge fan of 3D.
I like televisions.
Well, now those things are together at last, and let's find out a little bit more about that.
With the release of Avatar bringing 3D gaming to consoles and Sony planning to integrate 3D gaming into the PS3 within the next few years, is it time for you to start shopping for a 3D-ready TV? Here are some things you should know if you're thinking of making the switch. First off, there are several technologies for giving you 3D viewing. The two most common methods are based on using polarized glasses or LCD shutter glasses. Polarized glasses are what most 3D theaters use, and they work by having two images being displayed simultaneously, one for each eye. Each lens on the glasses only lets light from one of the images pass through, separating the two images so that each eye only sees one of them. Polarized glasses are lightweight, and 3D TVs that use this technology require no additional hardware. LCD glasses have lenses that can darken individually, which are synced up with a 3D display that is showing rapidly alternating images for each eye. By effectively covering one eye at a time, they make it so each eye only sees the image intended for that side. 3D TVs that use LCD glasses generally require additional hardware to get the glasses synced up with the TV. That hardware isn't supported by consoles and generally requires a computer to be attached to control it. However, if you have a computer set up to run the 3D glasses and it gets a sync from the TV, it can still potentially work to play console games in 3D. Just set up the 3D TV with your computer, and after you have it displaying images in 3D, switch the input over to your console. You'll have to leave your computer running while you play on the console, but it's still worthwhile if you already have the computer set up and you want to try a 3D game on your console. One thing you might notice playing a console game in 3D is that the visuals may look more pixelated. Since the console can't actually output a higher frame rate to give each eye the full quality image, they have to squeeze two images into the same video signal. There are several ways of doing this, but they generally are based around squeezing the two images into one, then stretching them back out. So basically your 1080 lines of HD just got cut down to 540. The polarized glasses are a lot easier to work with, since all the technology is integrated into the display.
These systems are referred to as passive, since the glasses themselves just filter out light. However, most 3D-ready displays on the market are based on LCD shutter glasses. If you want to use them for console gaming, you'll either need a computer there, or wait to see what support consoles add for them in the future. But if you really want to try 3D gaming and have a good computer, check out NVIDIA's 3D Vision Kit. This is the LCD shutter glasses kit that 3D-ready TV manufacturers will often point to for use with their displays, and it also works with some displays that support 100 Hz or higher refresh, even though they're not labeled 3D ready. Watch out if you're trying to use it with a 120 Hz LCD that isn't labeled 3D ready though, as many of them will process the video or change the backlight to make it appear to be at 120 Hz. So with all these things to consider, is 3D gaming ready for the masses? Well, if you play all your games on your computer, it's actually been ready for a long time. But if you stick to consoles, you might want to wait a little while for the support to be better integrated into the console itself.
All right, that's it for another episode of Today on the Spot. What have we got extra going on this week, Sophia?
Well, you want to remember the BioShock 2 interview tomorrow.
That's right. Full BioShock 2 interview tomorrow. And then we've also got Getting Started with Gaming Guides that went up on Tuesday. If you're interested in picking up a Wii, PS3, or Xbox 360, or you're a new owner of those, go ahead and be sure to check those out. So that's it for today's show. So for everyone here on the Today on the Spot crew, I'm Lark Anderson.
And I'm Sophia Tong.
Be sure to check us out on Saturday. That's it for Today on the Spot. And I'm your host, Lark Anderson.
I'm Sophia Tong.